There's something about a keep out sign that just makes me more curious. What's in there? What's worth risking dumpster sludge on my shoes, a smell that won't wash off? What's worth risking a rusty cut, criminal prosecution, or more likely, just the shame of being seen going through someone else's garbage? I don't know what's in there, but it's got to be good, or they wouldn't need that big sign. I make found art from found materials. I'm an upcycler, a reuser of discards, making things of higher value than the original. And for me, what's in the dumpster is the chance to look at something unloved and find value in it. Found art is not the art of perfection. Found art is the art of resourcefulness, of finding quick and novel ways of solving problems. But as much as I love getting my boots dirty, I've actually stopped dumpster diving because I found a better way to keep inspiring materials out of the landfill. And instead of limiting the hunt to an adventurous few like me, the whole community gets to share these good finds. How do we make dumpster diving more accessible? By making new places for reused materials. So I'd like to tell you about one of my favorite places in the whole world. The first time I walked into a creative reuse center, I was like a kid in a candy store. Endless bins, barrels, and boxes filled with quirky, cool, reclaimed materials. This was a scavenger's mecca. Leather scrap from a local upholsterer. Fridge magnets printed with last year's calendar. This was waste, reinvented. And this creative reuse center captured the discovery of the dumpster, but removed all the risk and the yuck. Organized, whimsically curated, made accessible as a resource for teachers, artists, makers, everyone. They say that one man's trash is another's treasure. On that first visit, I watched a woman's eyes light up at a bin I had completely overlooked. It was filled with all those worthless puzzle pieces left behind after the one goes missing. I could see something important was happening for her, as she saw with her eyes, touched with her hands, silently placing them one at a time in the palm of her hand, recombining these misfit cardboard chips into a tiny, colorful mosaic. And my thinking expanded. I went from, I want this, to my community needs this, a dumpster as welcoming as this one. On the one hand, we have an endless supply of waste. Each year, the average American contributes 1,600 pounds of household waste to the landfill. That's the weight of 300 boxes of crayons each week. Meanwhile, there is a constant demand for creative supplies. Collectively, last year we spent more than $40 billion on craft and hobbies. And teachers? On average, American teachers spend $479 of their own money on classroom supplies. So to me, an elegant solution is when two ugly problems cancel each other out. But even more than access to reclaimed materials, there's a deeper pull to creative reuse, something that makes me remember two heroes from my childhood. Richard Dean Anderson is MacGyver. There he is, trapped again, finding his way off a sinking boat with nothing but a paperclip and a balloon animal. MacGyver's greatest skill? The ability to improvise when the stakes are high. MacGyver looks at what he has and asks, how can I make this work? And my other hero, my great-grandmother, Ma Bill. While I didn't always appreciate it as a kid, nothing in Ma Bill's house ever went to waste. She reused tinfoil. She reused Christmas wrapping paper all year long. And her famous Jell-O casseroles, I say this with love, you'll never fully appreciate leftover green beans until after you've had them in lime Jell-O. Ma Bill never forgot that Depression-era saying, use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. Generations before sacrificed to get us here, a time and a place of abundance. I am privileged. And I'm troubled. by that other saying that the mother of invention is necessity. Because if resourcefulness thrives in a time of scarcity, how do we drive innovation in a society of abundance? Why do we have to be backed into a corner before flexing this critical life skill? Wouldn't we be better off taking the time to practice sharpening our sense of resourcefulness when the risks are low? Why wait until the landing gear on your plane is jammed and all you have is a bungee cord and a wooden nickel? Reuse was Ma Bell's way. Creative reuse is MacGyver's skill. Look, there are lots of ways to develop your sense of resourcefulness, so please don't hear me calling scrap art supplies some kind of silver bullet. But for me, the process of making waste materials into anything is the most joy-producing, low-risk, accessible way I've found to develop resilience in a world that flips upside down once in a while. Resourcefulness is the kind of thinking you can't use up, that never wears out. And even when the game is rigged against them, resourceful people have a way of evening the odds. Last year, I found myself in a 6th grade classroom, leading a workshop with a buffet of reusable material. Our nonprofit provides all the supplies needed, leveling the creative playing field for all students. So there we are, using waste to make dioramas of cultural sites around the world. As a class, we've gone through the budgeting lesson, where the kids literally buy in that these materials have value. They've filled their boxes with fabric and flooring samples and bicycle inner tubes. And though I don't know it yet, I'm about to get completely undermined by the 4 most angelic-looking 12-year-olds I've ever met. As I'm making my rounds, offering encouragement to the teams, I see one of these girls beginning to open her backpack. A backpack absolutely stuffed with tissue paper and rubber stamps and acrylic paints, modeling clay, all of it still in its wrappers, 2 bottles of glitter glue. These angels are beaming from ear to ear and reveling in the abundance before them. And I am absolutely torn, because without meaning to, they've gutted my lesson plan. While I'm sure this group is going to make a super awesome diorama today, they're missing the point. First of all, I'm there to create that same spark of joy for all the students in class, regardless of their parents' ability to stuff that bag. But the real reason I ask parents not to pack materials from home is that I want their kids to ask the more interesting question. How else might we solve this problem? As a parent, I know what it's like to want the best for my son. Not good enough, not make it do, the best. But sometimes my steering him toward the best keeps him from learning how to do his best. Because what I see is the girl whose parents bought glitter glue now insists it's the only thing that will work. She's learning a very different lesson from the next group over, who's made a simple but creative fix to a square cardboard box, turning it into a world-class pyramid. That girl with the backpack, how will she respond when life throws her a real curveball? Will she know what to do? When she's trapped in an old Soviet missile silo with nothing but 2 bottles of glitter glue? I believe if we want our kids to innovate, they first have to learn resourcefulness. That might mean restricting access to the universe of perfect materials in favor of expanding access to things that simply make do. And in that sense, the salvage, scrap, surplus of the world, these imperfect materials are the perfect building blocks of innovation. I believe if we put all our dumpsters together, we'd have a powerful community resource. And I believe everyone should have access to that stockpile, because access should never limit a person's ability to develop such a critical life skill. Lots of cities have creative reuse centers. Every town has students and teachers, artists and makers. And so the next time you're walking a box of usable scrap to the dumpster, ask yourself, who else might be able to use this in my community? You don't have to be inspired by something to understand that it can have value for others. Give others that opportunity to think creatively about what that value might be. I believe creative reuse is an idea worth spreading, mostly because it's an idea worth remembering. Remember, throwing things away is a choice. Remember, there is no away. Remember, use it up, wear it out, make it do. Or give someone else that chance. When was the last time an object inspired you, surprised you, made you see hidden value in it? Have you checked your dumpster? Thank you.